The student was accidentally kidnapped by bandits. The bandits were stunned. They thought they was going to threaten. They never thought that the punishment hadn't been carried out yet. These people have all confessed. 2.5 hours ago, Donghu returned to Shung base. He needs to hurry back because he learned from these students. Smelled a strange breath, so he has to come back as soon as possible to inform Zi Honglian. Just go back to base. They have 1,000 ways. You can pry open these students. At this time, Zi Honglian, she didn't know that Donghu had come back. She's still in the office analyzing plan and file from the destroy base. Right at this moment, there was a thump from the door of the office. She saw that the person who came was Donghu. Zi Honglian put down the document in her hand. How did the mission go this time? Did you find any useful information? We found Plateau's phone in Zujiazan village. Phone no longer works. But dozens of students were also arrested. They are from Tianjin University. The most important thing is that they had contact with Zhang Yi. Simultaneously, we also discovered a giant building at Zujiazan village. There is an ice wall tens of meters high there. Very solid defense. But in order not to alarm the snake, I didn't choose to go deep. Here. Zi Honglian frowned. Now she can roughly confirm. This incident, it has absolutely nothing to do with this guy named Zhang Yi. And she said, where did you place those students? Because the stakes are high. The outcome of the trial will decide directly. Did Zi Honglian launch an attack on Zhang Yi? So she must interrogate them. And Donghu, it was as if he knew that Zi Honglian would say that. He directly stated that, everyone has been arranged for trial by me. The interrogation room is on standby. The leader can interrogate the interrogation room on the other side at any time. And the bowels of the students were blue with regret. Why didn't you listen to Liang Yu in the first place? Find a cellar and hide. But it's too late to say anything now. They can only wait for their fate. Not long after, Zi Honglian, Donghu, and others came here. Their eyes are dark and cold. Obviously this time, if they don't get the information they want, they will never give up. Donghu introduced this. One of them. The artificial power user of Shishan base. But that person is in a coma. I feel this person should be useful to us. So I sent it to the medical room first. Hearing this, Zi Honglian suddenly became interested. Directly praised Donghu for doing a good job. Because of this body modification technology, she was already envious. Solif, we must keep him for our research. Then Zi Honglian found a chair, sitting in front of these students. Originally, she was thinking about the threat again, to get the information she wanted. However, Wu Chengyu didn't give her a chance to show it at all. Directly expressed that as long as the other party wants to know is something, he say everything. The other students came to their senses immediately. What dignity and benefits? It's not as important as your own life. Due to too much fear. So much so that Zi Honglian has not started to ask questions. And they're talking all the information they have known. Say it all. See the situation. Zi Honglian's heart was a little more disgusted. She knows people like this. It is impossible to access Zhang Yi's core intelligence. But she pulled out Plateau's satellite phone, thinking in her heart, you can learn as much as you can from them. Then she asked, who can tell me? Why is this satellite phone with you? However, how would these students know this phone if Donghu hadn't dug it out from under the floor? They won't even know this phone exists. However, this statement obviously made Zi Honglian furious. She's got his eyes fixed on the students. The facial expressions are getting uglier and uglier. Fortunately at this time, Wu Chengyu shouted loudly. This thing was left by Zhang Yi. That's what can save them. He doesn't care what the problem is now. Anyway, everything goes to Zhang Yi and Liang Yue. Just push it. I'm just a helpless student. Let the more capable person take the responsibility. However, when Zi Honglian heard this, immediately, the murderous eyes on her face began to spread. Killing Plateau is equivalent to declaring war on Yangsheng base. Therefore, she must make Zhang Yi pay the price. Otherwise, the majesty within the base will be motivated. But when asked how many people Zhang Yi had in total, the students shook their heads at each other. It's not that they don't want to say. They really don't know. Even Wu Chengyu's brain is in a state of starvation. Seeing this, Juch Qingting said slightly, if only with this information, it is difficult to accurately determine the strength of Zhang Yi. Zi Honglian certainly understands this. Limited intelligence is not enough to start a war, but she will definitely fight this battle. So she immediately, I'm going to order the execution of these useless students. As soon as this sentence comes out, the students are all scared to pee. To survive. Once again, they chose to betray their good luck. It was just now. Zi Honglian saw students desperate for their lives. Tom, a mocking smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. Then she turned around and ordered his subordinates. Lie them up first. Let them think about their role again. If they really can't think of it, kill them all. But now Juche King have a different view. He always felt that these students should be given a try, even if Zhang Yi and Liang Yue don't care. We should still threaten Zhang Yi. Because in his opinion, these students, there is no ability to survive the apocalypse at all, if no one takes care of them. He couldn't imagine how these people survived. So infer from this, he believes that the words of these students, it's not unreasonable. It's as possible as they say. Zi Honglian looked at him in surprise, because she really didn't expect. Own advisor. Yes. He naively thought that these garbage would threaten Zhang Yi, and she started taunting him with a face full of disdain. Everyone in the world is in danger today. If you were asked to exchange this garbage, would you change it? So your statement is unrealistic at all. And you stare at the money with your eyes wide open. To say something bad. These people even serve us. Slaves are not eligible. I don't believe anyone would be that stupid. Really, like you said. That man must be a lunatic. However, Juche King lowered his head and smiled. I know there are some things you can't understand, but there's one thing you need to understand. Not all women are as wise as you. And according to my speculation, Zhang Yi's decisive character, they allow students to live in the sanctuary, must have something to do with their teacher. After listening to Juche King's explanation, can't help but make Zi Hongli fall into deep thought, because in her opinion, Juche King's words seem to have a little truth. Therefore, combining the above information, Zi Honglian is not difficult to guess. This Liang Yue is very likely to be a holy mom. If I can take advantage of this, maybe you can find a breakthrough. After understanding this, immediately he was just Juche King to contact Zhang Yi, and gave the students all the explosive collars, arranged to go up. The other side, Zhang Yi and the others are enjoying breakfast leisurely at home. At this time, Liang Yue was planning to send it to the students. Food. Seeing this, Zhang Yi asked Liang Yue a few words with concern. This sudden tenderness made her little face flush. She didn't even dare to look at Zhang Yi, because you don't have to look to know. There must be some jealousy in her eyes. Liang Yue can't figure it out himself now. Did she develop feelings for Zhang Yi? However, at this moment, Zhang Yi was thinking of another thing. That's because Liang Yue, if she found that the students had disappeared, what on earth would she do? In fact, Zhang Yi knows better than anyone else. Liang Yue couldn't possibly give up those students. Only, he also wanted to see where Liang Yu's bottom line was. So, now Zhang Yi only asks Liang Yue not to give him more. To beg him. If she is really out of his control, then he had no choice but to ask Liang Yue to leave the shelter. At the same time, Liang Yue brought food to Zujiazhen village. All the way, she didn't notice anything different from before. But the moment she opened the door first, a bad premonition instantly came to her mind. She looked at the empty room, the feeling that something is happening. Because she knew them so well. Let's say they went out fishing in Nasei. She won't believe it. So Liang Yue can only think of one result. That is, these students were robbed by people from other organizations.